Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Driving with Jag. In this episode, I'd just like to talk about something for the people who actually want to do something in their lives. So, just a little bit of story about myself, what happened to me. So, many years ago, I've been trying to start up many businesses. So I've started in last 20 years about 10 businesses, and I've pretty much failed miserably in every business. And one of the reason which I failed, or one of the reason which I couldn't actually proceed with that, or one of the reason which I couldn't proceed or couldn't actually succeed in what I was doing, was something which stopped me all the time. And I want to share that one reason. And that's one reason I found with most people is that only one reason which stop people in getting what they want. So there's only one thing which stops us getting what we want all the time. So, and they say that, as Tony Robbins says, that we're always 2 millimeters away from success. One of the best plastic surgeons in the world talked about, to get a perfect feature on the face. You are just 2 millimeters away, because if you move something in a line with the 2 millimeters and the same, and then you can become the best or looking face in the world. And the same thing applies to the golf as well, or the cricket as well, or the soccer as well. So you are 2 millimeters away from the best shot. So this is the same thing applies in the life as well. What I learned is, what sort of stopped me as well is, number one thing was that a fear. A fear was something was always there, which actually stopped me getting what I wanted. So I think that the fear actually put into us by thinking there is a lack in the world. Because think of that is when we start schools, when we start unis, when we start our life, we always been taught, if you don't have this, or if you don't do this, you won't get good marks. So it means that if you don't study hard, you won't get good marks. If you don't study hard, you won't get a job. So it means that there is a lack in the world, that you have to work hard to get something. So that mentality is being given to us in our childhood. That kind of rules being actually fed into us from day one, that if we don't have this, if we don't have this in place, we wouldn't be able to succeed. And we always thought that we got to work hard to get something. We got to work really hard to be something in this world. So the fear is part of our life, or made part of our life. In the unis, you got to study hard and do your assignments. If you don't do it, you won't get a job. That's the fear. And the same thing, once you get a job, you stay on the job. You can't leave the job and start your own business because there is a lack. That lack of money, you got to pay your bills. There is always a fear, and there is a reason behind it. That fear is going to put into us, because if we don't have that fear, we all be doing what we love doing. Think of your childhood. There was no fear when you were little. You were. Sorry, just give me a second. I'm just getting into the car park. So their childhood, there was no fear. We loved doing what we wanted to do. As in one of the best books I've read was in The Alchemist. The guy talks about is that in the childhood we were thinking of doing what we wanted to do all our lives. But then something happened. We stopped believing in our personal legend. It talks about in the book called The Alchemist. And we stopped talking about our personal legend, and we just became fearful from taking action, fearful to actually having our own personal legend. So that's the fear stopping us doing what we want. And I've spent most of my life unlearn this fear. I'm trying to unlearn this fear, because that actually got me into trouble so many times. Every time I want to do something, the fear kicks in. Doesn't matter what sort of fear it is, the fear kicks in, because that's what I've been told. Think of the kids have no fear. They do what they love doing. If they want to play something, they play something. There is no fear in the kids. So what we have, or what we've been taught, and what happens somehow, we just get into that fear and we think that there is a lack in the world. And thinking that there is a lack in the world is the key, because when you start thinking there is a lack in the world, there is a fear kicks in. So change the mentality that in this world that things are in abundance. Once you start thinking everything is in abundance, the mentality, the shift happens. I'm still learning in that technique, that thinking that everything is in abundance. There is a share or fair share of things are for me in this world, rather than thinking there is a lack in the world. Just shift that change, that there is an abundance in the world. You'll see the fear trying to disappear after that. Hope this was helpful, and if you have any question, if you have any comments, please leave below, and do share this video if you think I can add any value to other people's lives as well. Thank you for watching.